Welcome back, teachers and Jupyter Ed users. I'm Tracy, and I am going to talk you through adding a PDF. Well, first creating a PDF document, and then adding it to a classroom as a material and to an assignment so that your students can have the reference materials they need. So here I've created a list of common postulates that my students will need for the first semester in Algebra 3. We're going to be writing proofs beginning around lesson 15, and they need to have those ones that we're going to use the most often, the ones that are the most common. Those are all the ones we're going to use this first semester. And so what I did was I typed up a handy list, and now I need to save this as a PDF. So I'm not sure how Microsoft Word handles that. I know that in Pages, I can click File, Export to PDF. I think Microsoft Word might have the function where you save it as a PDF. If you're familiar with the software that you use, then that's you know how to do that. So export to PDF, and then it would create it as a PDF file. I'm going to cancel this because I've already done it once and I don't need multiples of this file. If you don't have, if you don't know how to save it as PDF, or you're using a software that doesn't allow you to export it or save it as a PDF, your printer might. So try File, Print if you don't see it as an option, or it might be there and you just don't know where it is. Your printer might do it for you as well. So it's another way that you could convert something to a PDF. When you say file print, a lot of times, like I prefer HP printers because they are very dependable. But they also have a function in the print feature where you can save it as a PDF file. So if you can't do that from the software that you use to create the file, maybe you can use it with the or from the software interface to your printer that allows you to print. So you have those two options, all right, for creating a PDF. You also have a third option. If you don't know how to do that, and you don't have Pages or Word and it doesn't include that, or you don't know how to do it in that software, and your printer doesn't give you the option to create a PDF, you can always just use a Google Doc. Google Docs, whatever document you create, when you click the print button in Google Docs, it doesn't actually print it. It just saves it as a PDF to your downloads folder. So if you don't have software or a printer that will allow you to do the PDF, you can use Google Docs and create a PDF from there. There's also a fourth way that you can get a PDF document for your student, and that is just by downloading them. There are plenty of teacher resources. There's Teachers Pay Teachers. There's educational websites that have lots of reference materials that may have exactly what it is that you need, where all you have to do is download it and then turn around and put it on your Jupyter class. So you have lots of options there when it comes to getting the PDF. And if you are with Growing in Grace, which is my school that we teach at, or then, and you don't have any of that, let me know what you need, and I can create the PDF for you and put it in your classroom. So just let me know if you need that help, or if you want me to spend some one-on-one time showing you how to do this. I'm more than happy to help any of my teachers and tutors so that we can give the students what they need for success. So let's go ahead and close out of here. I've already created my document. I've saved it as a PDF, so I don't need this open anymore. I'm going to save the RAM on my computer, and I'm just going to quit this software so that all I have is my browser open and my screen recording software. So I am on the Algebra 3 class. I've logged in and I've gone to Post Files. And let me show you from my dashboard. All right, here's my Algebra 3 class. This is what you're used to seeing. And then from there, you go to Post Files. and then you're in the Files section for that class. You can see it says Files, Algebra 3. So you know that's where you are. I don't have anything out here right now. So I'm going to click New Upload, and this computer, because that is where the file is located. And I'm going to select this file here. Actually, that's the wrong one, a different file. That is for next semester. This is in Documents. And notice this is the file that I had open in Pages. It's the same name, but the PDF file has a little PDF right here. Now, if you view that as a list, which is something you might do, let me put it in as a list. And I have it set up for the day it was added to display it. Then it tells you here under the kind of file that it's the PDF document. That's the one you want. So I'm going to select my PDF document and I'm going to click Upload. Now you'll get a screen that says the file name and then the courses that it will be displayed in. Now it does not make copies of the file. All it does is display that file in whatever class you want to have it available. So it's just like a visibility. Right now the only class that needs it is Algebra 3, so I'm going to leave Algebra 3 as the only class checked, and I'm going to click Save. So there it is. There's my postulates file for the students to have access to. Now, in order for them to have access to it, I'm going to have to click the Show button. This little gray circle here means they can't see it. But if I click that, the green check mark now means that my students can see the file. All right, so I am going to go to Jupyter as a test student. And when your student logs in, the first thing they'll go to is their messages screen. This is what it'll look like. And then after that, they click the to-do button and it gives them their to-do list. Now the to-do list only displays assignments that are overdue that they haven't turned in and assignments that are current. All right, so if they haven't turned it in yet and it's going to be due by tomorrow, then it displays. Also, the only way to override that is if you have an assignment, let's say it's due in 2 weeks, and you want them to work on it. It's going to take 2 weeks for them to do it, and you have put in display on the to-do list so many days ahead. It by default is 1. So it will show, if it's due tomorrow, it by default will show today. Right? But if you change that number of days to, let's say you want them to work on it for 2 weeks, you can change that to let them see it 14 days in advance. Right? And that's what it does. It will give them the opportunity to look at that 14 days in advance. So then you tell them, okay, your assignment is out there. It's due on this day. It's going to take you 2 weeks to do it. So open it up and go ahead and do it. So then they can see that assignment when we change the number of days in advance. And I'll show you that when we get to assignments. But here's how the student would access their files. First of all, when it comes to seeing assignments, they need to click on that page or that class header. When they click on that class header, it shows them every single assignment available and open for them to do, whether they've turned it in or not. All right, down here at the bottom, they have a little check mark that's a little grid or a key that shows them. Check mark means done. Circle means that you started it, but you didn't finish it. You didn't turn it in. So you opened it, but it still needs to be accessed. You still need to complete it. And an asterisk means that we have graded it. So what they need to see is an asterisk so to know that they're done with the assignment. The check mark just means that they finished it, and then the asterisk means that we have graded it. So that's what the student is looking for, is the asterisk, so they can go back. But now the way we have set up our system is they don't have to open it to check their grade. Their grade is going to be displayed right here underneath score. And then they have what's called the category. And the category, one of the things you should do in the beginning of the year is explain to them how their grades work. So for instance, your lessons in my class, your lessons count for 30% of your final grade. All right. Your quizzes count for 30% of your final grade. Your participation counts for 5% of your final grade, and your tests and exams count for 35% of your final grade. That's just the way I do my class. You do it in the way that matters to your subject material, however it works for you. So what's going to happen is they're going to see all of this, but they're also going to see this little icon right here. This is the fastest way to get to their materials. Now there's another way. They could click here and they could hit the materials button. They could absolutely do that. But all they really have to do is click this file button, this little file folder, and it will show right here if I've posted anything for them. Let me refresh this because I don't. Let me send it again. It's going to make me log in, I think. Let me go back to Algebra 3. It says I haven't posted anything for Algebra 3. So let me, it's there in Algebra 3. So what it is I need to log out and log back in as a student. So let me log out. Test student. And if you need to see something the way a student sees it, let me know. And I can set this up for your class. I can add the student to your class and give you the user ID and password so that you can see how your students see it. I think that's important for us as teachers, is to see what does the student see, so you know what you're, you know how to present it a little bit better. So I'm going to, okay, so this is how it looks when they come in. They click the to-do list. Now they click the Algebra 3. Now I'm going to click the file folder. And it says it still hasn't posted anything for that. So I'm going to have to figure out why. Do I not have that test student in my class? Let's find out. No, the test student is there. Take them off of that. Erase. All right. It's showing Jupyter. Log out. Let me refresh. Yes. All right, student, test, student. To do, Algebra 3. There it is. Okay, awesome. They just needed to refresh, and that's something too that you can tell your students if they're not seeing materials, then it's probably because they haven't logged out or logged back in. You know, especially if it's time sensitive, like you just added it and they were already logged in, then what they need to do is log out, refresh their browser, and then log back in so that they can see the materials. So that's a good thing to have happened, so you know how to handle that if your student tells you, oh, I can't see it, I can't find it, it's not there. And then you know, log out, refresh, log back in, and then you should see it. It's that whole thing like with when you call the helpline for your printer and they say unplug it and plug it back in. That's the same thing. That's what we're doing. We're telling them to unplug and plug back in. So anyway, now they can see the file, the Poshets file, and if they click that file, it will display in the browser just like that. Isn't that awesome? So from their browser, they have the option to go file, print, and print it to their home printer. Guess what? That saves us as teachers paper and ink. If they don't have a printer, that's fine. Guess what? They have a notebook and a pencil. They can copy it down in their notebook. The burden of responsibility is pushed onto the student, and it's put in their hands to pursue their own education. It's important that they understand that this is indeed their education. We are not handing them these papers out or giving them this information because it does us any favors. We are helping them to be successful with their education. And the burden is on them to go after it and to learn it. We can't learn it for them. So one of the things the PDFs does is that it does that. It puts that burden and that responsibility back onto the student to go after it. And then all we have to do is say, it's out there, go get it. So they can pull up the document and it looks, it's nice and clean and sharp. We don't have to make a bunch of copies, and every student has access to it whenever they need it or whenever they want it. All they have to do is go get it, and it's there all year long. So there's no excuse when it comes to, well, I ran out of time. I didn't have time to copy them all down. No, you've had access to it 9 months. It's been there. It's been there. You could do one a day. I don't care, but it's there. So if they need to go back to the classroom, they click class, and it takes them right back. Now, how do we put this in an assignment? Let me go over here back to my login for Jupyter as a teacher, and I'm going to click done. And let's say I want to put it in an assignment. Let's say I need to put it in. Okay, so lesson 15 is when we're going to start doing postulate, or when we're going to start doing proofs. When we start doing proofs, that's when they need to have those postulates. So I'm going to click on lesson 14-15. And I'm going to go ahead and click show to students, show on calendar, just because I want you to be able to see it when I go over here to this test student. And I'm going to click attach, and I'm going to click files. And then I am going to select this file that I have already uploaded. And then I'm going to click attach. So now you can see this file is right here. They can see it. All right, so now that I've shown it to students, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my student here, and I'm going to refresh the screen. And you can see lesson 14-15 popped up. So it's there. So let's click lesson 14-15 and see what the student sees. All right, so this says watch the video, take excellent notes in your reference. Let me refresh that, because it is supposed to show that file that they can see it. So let me come back here. Show to student, show on calendar, turn in files or links, turn in this worksheet. No, let me click done. All right, let me refresh. If I refresh, it'll make me log out. I'm going to go back here as a student, go back to Algebra 3. I'm going to click refresh again. Yes. All right, I'm going to click this one more time. There it is. So now it showed up. So it just had to be refreshed again for it to show up. So now they can, it's in here. It's in the assignment that they need it with. And it is the exact same function. They click it and it opens up in that window and they have it. It's there. Right. So they can even click open PDF in a different, and it'll open in a different tab. And then that'll allow them to keep that open while they go back to Jupyter and do whatever it is they need to do. So if they need that open to do an assignment, they can do that by clicking that open PDF button, and it opens another tab with that PDF in it, and then they can come back to Jupyter and they can do the assignment they need to do, but then click over here and look at that as they need to, right? So there's no excuse for them to, well, I couldn't have both open. Yes, you can. You can have both open at the same time. It's fine. So that would be how you would attach it to an assignment. You attach it to the assignment the same way that you would attach a Junopod or a video or any other type of link. You just click attach, and then you click what it is that you want. Attach, and whatever it is that you need to attach, you just choose. You just choose what you need, and then it puts it out there. All right, so I'm going to take this back off because I don't have my Junopod. And so you can, now if you attach a worksheet, then you cannot attach a Junopod. If you have it set to turn in Junodocs, you cannot attach a Junopod. But if you attach a Junopod, you can attach a file, you can attach a link, you can attach a forum, and you can attach any of these videos, any type of video to the assignment. But if you do attach, you can attach any of these things here, but you can only attach one Junopod. You can attach multiples of these other things, but only one Junopod. And if you do any of this here, you cannot attach a Junopod, but you can still attach files. So let me show you how this could be something that you use as a worksheet. So you could click Turn in Worksheet, and let me click Done. I'm going to go back to the student, and let me refresh this. Yes. All right, so now when I click Turn in Worksheet, that worksheet becomes a module. It becomes a thing that they have to open and work on. So I click Billets Now, and now I can click Write, and I could actually click this right here, and I could type on that. I could type, "This is my reference." You know, or if you have a worksheet with blanks on it, they can type in the answers on the blanks. So if you have something that you need to be able to have them write on or draw on, this is a good option. You can open up the upload the PDF to the assignment and then set it as a worksheet, and then they can open up that worksheet and they can write on it within Jupyter Ed. And then all you have to do is open that worksheet when you grade it, and it'll show you the worksheets. So let me show this. Let me click Turn In. All right, so it's turned in. Now I'm going to go back over here to this lesson, and I have this student. You see that asterisk tells me that they've turned in the worksheet. So I'm going to click it, and this is what I see. I see exactly what the student did on their worksheet, right? So all I have to do is look at the answers that they typed in or that they drew, and then I can give it a grade. And now here's the only thing I don't like about Jupyter. I can grade it, and I can click Done. Oh, it worked that time. Well, great. It just made me a liar. Sometimes you could give it a grade and it would still give you the blue asterisk and act like you hadn't graded it yet. So maybe they've updated it to change that, because before you would put a grade in here and then it still would have the blue asterisk. And you had to put a sticker or some type of comment on the page before the asterisk would go away, even though you had already given it a grade. So maybe they have updated the system to include that. If they have, that's so much better. Now let's say there's something that you need to print to grade it. Like you're one of those people that you cannot grade on the computer, or it's something that maybe you have a template. Now, given the number of students that you have, it might not be something that you really want to do. Excuse me. You might not want to print all of these if you have a large class. But if you need to do it, if you're that type of person, you need to print it out, you can print it out. You can click Print. Like let's say they had some type of a drawing or something that they had to submit and you need to print it. It will let you print it, and it'll print out just like this. So what I would do is I would just print from 1 to 1 because there's nothing on that second page. But it'll let you print out whatever it is that they type and send in. So you can, let's say you have sign language puzzles and you put the sign language puzzle out here, as a PDF, then you could actually print it out and lay your template, your transparency template on top to grade it, and make it a little bit easier on yourself. The only problem is you're going to have to print out every single one of those, but you could print them out, grade them, put the grade in, and then pass their paper back to them so they can put it in their folder whenever you come back to class on Thursday. So that's a possibility. But it would just mean that you're going to be using your paper and your ink, which is kind of the point of not printing them out in the first place. So it's up to you however you want to do it. But it will save you from the whole student saying, oh, I lost my paper. Well, they can't lose it now. So that is entirely up to you how you want to do that. If you want to print them out to pass out their grade for that puzzle, or that whatever that worksheet is, or if you want to leave it here and let them go and see it. It's whichever one is easier for you to grade and for you to handle. So those are your available options for a PDF document. You can use it as a reference where you just attach it to an assignment. You can create a worksheet out of it where it is the assignment. Or you can just have it, you can still have it, even if you do all of this, you can still have it in your files for that class so that they can open it up whenever they need to see it. And they can have that. So it could still be here as well, even though it's attached to an assignment. What happens is the system actually, when you attach it to an assignment as a worksheet, it actually creates a copy for that student for that assignment. So you can upload it once and use it a variety of ways. And if you have any other questions about how to use PDFs as a resource on Jupiter Ed, please message me or ask me, let me know, and I'm happy to help with that. Ta-ta for now.